GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
This is AC Slade, and you're listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
What's up, rock soldiers? This is the Rockstar Robbie Vegas with another fresh, brand new, amazing episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, that is Chazz Stanley, as you guys know. And he is...
Oh, yeah.
He is opening up... What are these called?
These are the Mad Elf Holiday Ale from Trogs Independent Brewing.
Well, should we cheers and sip?
Well, let's say that we're not beer people.
We're not.
Usually when you hear us drinking, it's seltzers.
Right.
And half the time, it's not even hard seltzers.
Yeah, big bitches over here.
Yeah. So, this is 11% alcohol.
Oh,
and
boy.
This six-pack was $16 or $17. It sounds good. It says Holiday Ale brewed with cherries and honey.
All right, cheers.
Let's see.
Whoa. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's not. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's it's strong, but
yeah,
it's hearty, but it's not
yeah.
It's not like an IPA. Blech. Sorry, this isn't beer talk.
Well, listen, today we talked about this on the show a long time ago, but we never did it. And you're on the show at minimum once a month, if not more.
Right.
And I feel like our listeners are getting to know so many people that we keep bringing on, and they like the shows that we do besides the interviews, and they don't...
They like the shows besides the interviews? They don't like the interviews?
They do like the interviews.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But, I mean, when we first started, sometimes our side stuff would take a dip, and now it's right up there with the interviews in popularity.
Thank you, folks.
Yes, thank you for all of our listeners for making that happen. But I realized they don't really know much about you, why I bring you on, and why you have such opinions on music and wrestling, things like that. So we're going to talk to you about who the fuck is Chazz Stanley.
Well, it's apropos because within the first few months of your podcast, who interviewed you?
You did.
That's right. People are like, who is this mother coming in and interviewing?
That's right. So now we're going to reverse things here. So you're not the co-host today. You're the guest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's technically this is your first time being the guest.
This is the first time I'm being the guest. I don't have any responsibilities.
And shout out to Mike Burns, by the way, who I waited till now to tell you live on the podcast. I started training him to be a professional wrestler.
Get the fuck out of here.
I did. He had his first session about, I think, 2 weeks ago now.
I hope you're leaning in hard.
I mean, he did pretty good. But I did not take it easy on him, but I did tell him that we're stepping it up. So
okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Get in a flare chopper too for me.
That's the plan.
Good for you, Mike Burns. That's awesome, man. I hope you do it. I hope I see you get your ass kicked someday.
And then we'll be interviewing Mike on the process of becoming a professional wrestler.
That's smart. People can tell him how much it hurts.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we're gonna get started with you right now, and we're gonna take it back way, way long ago. Do you remember what came first for you, music or wrestling?
No, I don't. They kind of go hand in hand, honestly, as long as I could ever remember. Always remember stealing older brother, my brother Dom, 12 years older than me. So I always remember stealing his records and his big rubber wrestlers. Always. So, and those Kiss records, Alive 2 and whatnot.
What are your very, very first memories of either one of those things?
I have a memory. I don't know if this is a memory, but I'll tell a quick little story about those big rubber LJN wrestlers.
I know what you're going to say.
Is that my brother used to have him on a shelf in his bedroom. Is this where you know where I'm going?
Yeah.
And so he had him on a shelf above his bed, and these things were not sturdy by any means. And the Andre the Giant, the big motherfucker, came flying down and busted him in the face and broke his nose when he was sleeping. So that's like, I don't know if I remember this, but like I remember the lore of this story. But I had to be around, right? Because those those figurines were like, what, 88?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was around, but like, I remember that. So first memories of Kiss, like, God, I remember like living in a house that I moved out of when I was like 4. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I was little. And I just remember like listening to my brother's records and staring in the mirror playing air guitar.
Now, I just want to touch on something really quick, because I don't know if our new listeners know this or if we've ever even mentioned it on the show, but we're related.
Yes.
We're cousins, so I was there for a lot of these things. So a lot of the questions I'm asking you, I know the answers to.
Fair enough.
But we need our listeners to know the answers to.
Fair enough.
So those are your earliest like memories or stories or whatever, but I can remember before I even really had quote-unquote memories coming to your house to watch pay-per-views and stuff like that for wrestling. So you must have been into it at a way younger age, because those are some of my first memories of watching wrestling are with you.
So I remember so it's tough because like we were alive, and like I've always joked, I'm a year and a half older, but sometimes that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So like,
in what you remember, it does.
Yeah. So it's like I was alive, and so were you, but I remember it actually a little bit like before Raw. Mm-hmm. Like when you had to watch wrestling Saturday morning or the pay-per-views. Yeah. Raw started early 93?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's kind of when everything like took off. But I remember like 91 getting swept up in the Ultimate Warrior Mania, and like 92, like I remember distinctly, like, I don't know why this is a memory of me, because you get weird memories.
Yeah.
Might have been around this time, holidays time. I was at our Aunt Mary's house. I was little. It must have been like 92, which would have made me like 6.
Yeah.
Watching Sunday or Saturday morning wrestling. I remember watching Yokozuna versus El Matador.
Oh my God.
Like, so think about, like, I just have that weird image in my head. I can go to Aunt Mary's all the time. I don't know why the hell I was there watching wrestling in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Must have just babysat me or something. So, like, that's early. Like, 6 years old, like, I have that memory, like, of watching that. Because I don't think I was able to get many pay-per-views before that, because my mom would never spring for them.
Yeah.
And then she started to, because I started poking her more. and like, my brother would.
Yeah. You were getting older.
Yeah. So, like really the pay-per-views and stuff, like, I mentioned this last year, the first big pay-per-view I remember going crazy for was Survivor Series 93.
Okay, yeah.
The Un-Americans, the Foreign Fanatics.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That was just like, that was like a big thing in my house for me. So, I mean, that's a long time ago.
It is, but you also said that you have memories from then of Kiss and things like that, but you're playing air guitar in the mirror, which was weird because you went the drumming route when you first started. So let's kind of like talk about the music aspect.
So there was two different eras of me drumming.
Yeah.
So it was like, I always liked Eric Carr. Like I said, immortalized on my arm.
Yeah.
It was always from that 92 Revenge album, that Car Jam drum solo. Just was always like stuck out and was cool to me. So by the time I was like 7 or 8, Christmas, I got some little ass kid drum set for Christmas. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. The thing was probably $40. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, I remember those.
But like, I thought it was like, you know, a big pearl kit that came down in the basement, and like, I didn't know what I was doing. Nobody gave me lessons then. I had an older cousin on the other side of the family that drummed a little bit, but never like showed me anything. So like, of course they got destroyed.
Yeah.
So you were probably playing guitar. You started playing guitar early, I know. So like, I think it was right about the same time, except you stuck with it and I didn't at the time.
Yeah, I started at 6, like, and that was it. Like, I just did it from then on. And I do remember that, though. Now,
well, you had the benefit, too, of your father.
I did. Yeah.
Father's great guitar player, great singer. Shout out to Big Rob. What's up, Big Rob? So, like, you had that benefit. You had that, I don't know, luxury, I guess is the word?
Well, the whole family, too, because my dad played guitar, Dave played
Yep.
guitar, you know, Uncle Ron was a singer. So, like, my whole family, and then eventually, obviously, country music superstar Eric Van Houten started playing guitar, and we all just would pass the guitar around and play.
What about Adam?
Adam dabbled in it.
I remember a little bit, yeah.
He didn't, like, play, but he played, if that makes sense.
Then he found video games.
Yeah, that's right. Adam was the guy who played every sport possible. You remember?
I do remember.
I know, because, like, when he'd come around, it was like he had softball and football and, you know, he's playing a pickup game of baseball somewhere, like volleyball.
I played a few of those with him before. But the family you're talking about with your dad, that's not my side of the family.
Right, exactly.
It's different.
But I was going to say, too, though, like, growing up, you were into sports, too.
Yeah.
You weren't just a music and wrestling guy. Like, you always liked pretty much just sports in general.
Yeah.
But you still went more the route of becoming a musician. And I won't say that you drifted away from wrestling. You didn't until we were older, but you found your way back to it. But what was that curve for you that brought you into music? Because the reason why we talk so much music on the show with you is because, like me, you grew up in bands your whole life, and you're cutting albums, and you're jumping band to band, you're playing different styles of music, and people who are listening need to know like where that came from you.
Well, okay, so getting away from sports, I played baseball. I thought I would be a big football player, but you know what? I'm like 5'8". No, I'm not an athletic. I'm athletic, but comparative. I was never going to happen. Anything.
Well, football players then were a lot bigger than they are now, I feel.
Well, they're still pretty big now.
But I mean, height-wise.
Yeah. So it's just like anything. I'm 5'8". It just wasn't going to happen. And like, I'm also, another thing that kept me out of wrestling, like doing wrestling, is I'm kind of injury prone. I am. So I get hurt. But what it really, like, music was always my love. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm stealing my brother's vinyls. I had like this old beat up, and I'm sure you remember this little suitcase full of Kiss 8-tracks.
Oh, yeah.
And this little mini, like, 8-track player always.
Yeah.
So music was always my thing. And then, like, as you get older and you get into a certain scene, like, we had the Kiss scene and then, like, the Poison scene, but there was no scene of that. And then the new metal scene hit, and we got engulfed in it.
Yeah, we did.
And then a little bit later, I got engulfed more into the emo side of things. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, and this is going to sound a little cocky, but music was was easier for me.
Well, you were a self-taught drummer. So when we first started playing together, me and you weren't singing, you were drumming.
Yes.
And you knew how to play these Kiss songs because you'd listened to them so many times.
To me, drumming was easy. It was almost too easy. And I know that sounds cocky. And am I a great drummer? No. But I could have been.
Right.
But it was too easy to the point where, like I said, I got that drum set when we were 7 or 8, but then I got one when I was 13, a real one, and that's when we started playing. And literally, maybe I was like 14. I was probably 14, 15.
Yeah.
And then by that next summer, I was the jazz drummer of the high school band.
Yes.
That quickly, because it came almost too quick. It was too easy, if that sounds cocky, I guess it is. But, like, that's why I transferred away, because it was also that I joined the drama club at that time, and that's when I met our first band, Steve, Alan, Kevin, all those guys.
Right. Yep.
I met them all in the drama club. We were all actors, but that's where I found out I could sing. Mm-hmm. And that was at the point where it was like, I could sing. I ain't trying to be Phil Collins.
Yeah, right.
So I threw, shout out to Phil Collins. The Genesis was just in town the other day.
Oh, yeah.
They're still out there doing it.
Yeah.
But that was like the time for me to transfer away from drums, because we mentioned Steve, much better drummer than I was at the point, and I could sing, so that's why we started that band.
Yeah, and I remember how that started, but before I talk about that band, I want to stay on Drama Club for a minute, because that's why you were so comfortable being a frontman and being on stage. I always thought, because you were the Drama Club guy, and again, more things we talk about on the show, movies and acting, something you've done.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have you on for so many things because you've done so many things. So, where did Drama Club come from for you? It was just, I'm just going to join Drama Club, and it just happened? Or?
Well, from what I remember, like, I'm a class clown kind of guy. You guys can tell, maybe. But, like, I remember, like, so we had, like, a music class in middle school. This is middle school, like, 8th grade. And then, like, they had a chorus tryout, and, like, 5 people were there. Right? And I was one of them, and, like, of course, like, I made it because everyone made it because, like, 5 people showed up.
Yeah,
right?
of course, yeah.
So it was like, I didn't know I could sing. I didn't know I could sing, right? I thought I could, but I didn't know I could. So then, like, the drama club, like, it was a high school. There was no middle school. And they came into the middle school saying, we need some kids. They were doing the production of Bye Bye Birdie, and they needed some kids, end quote.
Yeah.
And there's a high school kid, so let's get some middle school people to play the kids. So, like, we all tried out, and they offered the chorus roles and one lead part, speaking part with solos.
Yeah.
So we all tried out, and I was figuring I was just going to get in the chorus. And I remember that day they posted it. I'm looking, and my name isn't in the chorus. Mm-hmm. And I was, like, dejected because it was just seemed fun to do, and I had friends doing it. And then all of a sudden, people were, like, patting me on the back, and I look above, and I got, like, that lead role part.
Wow. Okay.
So, and it wasn't, like, a major, like, singing part or anything, but it gave me that first confidence to be, like, the only middle school kid in a production full of high school kids.
I remember coming to that. I lived close enough to the school, and I walked.
You probably went to all of the ones I did.
I did.
And they were fun,
Yeah, they were. They were really good. And again, that's how you meet the members of our first band, Dark Days.
Yeah, Dark Days.
It was Alan, Kevin, and Steve. You guys were all in Drama Club. Yep. And I remember what happened is that you got the drum set, and I had just gotten a new amp. And we were jamming, and they saw me carrying my equipment in, and they went and grabbed their equipment and just showed up. And we had been jamming for a couple weeks, just me and you, trying to figure out how we were going to put a band together.
You remember some of our first songs?
The titles?
The covers that we were doing.
Yeah, we were doing Strutter.
Sweet Leaf.
Kiss, Sweet Leaf, yep. Still love that song, by
It's
the
a
way.
great song.
And I was singing.
Yep.
And playing guitar, and you were just drumming.
Yep, and we had the microphone hanging from a pipe.
Yeah, because we didn't have a mic stand.
Right, but that's humble beginnings.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you're right about, like, the confidence thing, because, like, that first musical we did, and like I said, Steve and Alan were in there too and stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin wasn't in it. Kevin was the light guy.
Yes.
Right, but
Yep.
Steve and Alan were. I remember, like, that musical being, like, sick to my stomach, so nervous, you know. And this is 3, and it's sad to say, but there was more people at all those performances than any of our bands at the time, right?
At the time,
so
yeah.
this was a big, like, deal. Like, the auditorium for the school was packed.
Yeah, for sure.
But once I got through those, then we started the band.
Yeah.
That's why it was a lot easier for me than, say, you, who you were nervous that first show.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember being out for that first show and eating, and all you guys were, like, including Steve and them who done this before, but
they didn't want to eat because they were going to throw up.
but it just, like,
Yeah.
it just hit me, man. I was like, I loved it. I loved being not the center of attention, none of that stuff, but I loved getting the roar from the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to work really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the next year, still in middle school, I got the second lead role of the whole musical.
Yeah.
We did Oklahoma. I was
remember.
still in 8th grade, and I got the role of Judd, who was the bad guy,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
I was in 8th grade. So that, to me, I freaking loved it. I was the heel
Yeah.
of the whole performance,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to yell and scream and kidnap a girl, and I got to, like, die.
Yeah.
I got to fight, and I stabbed myself or
Yep.
something. Like,
I
dude, it
remember
was... That was, like, my heyday, man. And it was another, like, pat on my back being in middle school still.
Yeah.
You know, and
Right.
getting the lead, like, one of the lead roles of the high school.
Well, we didn't have a normal high school experience as far as other kids had because the band started, we were so young. We were playing gigs on Friday and Saturday nights when other kids were doing homework or studying or, like, watching movies or whatever you do when you're 14 or 15.
Right.
And we were in bars and clubs playing these gigs. And I remember the first show, how you said we were so nervous is because we were playing on the same stage as Godsmack, Orgy, like all those new metal bands that we were basically emulating at the
And we
time.
were in the mids. This was 2002.
Right.
Like, you don't get much more thick
Yes.
of it than 2001, 2002.
Right, and we gained steam so fast because we were so young. So when people heard that this young group of kids was playing this music, it was like, oh, well, we're going to go see them. And you were the front man of that because Steve walked down to the basement and we were like, well, we don't need 2 drummers. And you were like, well, I know the words to the songs that Robbie knows and the songs that Alan knows, so I'll just sing.
Yeah, because I didn't, like, at that point I was starting to feel comfortable. But it's like, you know, some people can sing and they're not great.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean they're Bob Dylan. Yeah, I said it. But, like, you know, they can sing but they're not great. And I don't think I was great then, but then it just started flowing. And then I learned quickly how to scream.
Yes.
And, like, that is a talent that a lot of people don't know how to do. Like, yes, there's a lot of people that scream, but not a lot of people can do it like me. And I say still to this day, where I can do a whole set and still sing, you know, my clean voice at like 90%.
So even back then, though, when you first started, you had a pretty good concept, like a grasp around how to do that. Was that just from listening to the music?
Listening and emulating it.
Yeah.
And then, like, a lot of, like, good singing and stuff. And, like, this goes a long way with, like, when I know I joke around with impressions and stuff, but there's sometimes I can do good impressions and not. It's a lot to do with your mouth and your, like, throat control and being animated. It's weird. A lot of it has to do with how you open your mouth or how you open your throat and things like that. And, like, I know this is kind of boring to people, but, like, that screaming stuff for, like, bands, like, if you're actually screaming, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right, I agree.
So it's like you're almost getting to a point of you're almost mimicking it. You're almost mocking it.
Right.
But that's okay because if you can harness that and make it work, you don't blow out your vocal cords. And there was a time where I was like hardcore into like 2 metalcore bands, playing gigs every week and practicing every week. And it's like, I still like kept up.
Yeah.
And it like was my voice perfect for like the singing sets? No. But like, it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And it was the best I could do. Honestly. And to be honest, like I hurt my throat way more now just singing than screaming. And like, I feel lucky in that aspect because there's a lot of people like Avenged Sevenfold, like Matt won't scream and can't scream anymore because it messes with his throat.
Now, going back to those early days, do you remember how awkward the first practice was? Because it wasn't supposed to be our first practice as a band. They just showed up.
Right.
So I would play a Kiss song, and you would sing it, and Steve would play drums, and Kev would kind of follow, and Alan would wait.
Dope.
And then afterwards, Alan would play, like, Dope, and
Yeah.
I would wait.
Right.
And then I would play Black Sabbath, and you guys would all do whatever, and Alan would wait. And we would trade back and forth, because I really only played 70s and 80s rock at the time.
Well, you only knew what you knew.
Right.
Alan only knew what he knew.
But then we came together in the middle, because he knew how to play Godsmack, and so did I.
Yeah.
And that's where we were like, oh, we're
And it
on to
was
something.
easy to learn, right?
Right.
And like this was the beginning stages of the interwebs.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it
very.
wasn't as easy as it is today.
Yeah.
Now, if I need to learn something on guitar, like I mostly can figure it out by ear. But if I gotta like learn it, I don't even look at. I look up a video of someone playing it.
Yeah, right.
And that's all I do. It
Yeah.
takes me 2 seconds. I'll be like, oh, that's what
Yeah,
he's doing, and that's
yeah.
it. So like back then, not a chance.
No, not at all. No. Tell everybody the story from your point of view of how we became known as Dark Days, because this story is just funny to me.
So this is, I made sure I wanted to mention this on the podcast today. Like, I value you so much in our life, not just as my cousin, because you have like this photographic memory of like everything when we were kids. So it's like, when you try to bring up these old stories, like, you know everything, and I'm like, really? That happened sometimes? But I kind of remember this one. So we'll go with it. Okay. So I remember like we were in my basement, then we were practicing at Steve's house.
Yeah.
For a while. And we were practicing in his basement, and we probably started playing in February, and we're in April. So
Yes.
it's not, but that's what kids do, right?
Yeah.
And when I say we were playing 3-4 nights a week, though.
Yeah, for sure.
We were
Like,
going hard.
We were pretty dedicated to making this happen.
Now if a band tells me they want to practice twice a week, I'm like,
Yeah. I don't even practice by myself twice a week.
That's what I'm saying. But so we were doing that, and I remember like we were upstairs in his computer, in a computer room back when those things were a thing.
Yeah.
And he found the website for the local booking agent. What was it? ESP or something like that?
Yeah, ESI.
ESI. One of those places where it's like, you pay us money, you can play.
Yeah, yes,
That's
right.
what it was.
You had to buy the tickets,
Yep.
sell the tickets for more than you bought them for, and that's how you made your money.
If you wanted to make money.
If you wanted to make
But
money.
if you just want to play for free, you can't do that. You need to pay us.
Right.
Like, what a scheme.
Right.
First of all.
But again, we're fucking,
Right.
whatever, 14, 15 years old.
And I don't think it was insanity. I think it was like $40.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Or something
It
like
wasn't
that.
a
But
lot.
still, like, when you're 15, well, I was 16, you were 15, I think. Or
No.
you weren't yet.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I was 16, you weren't 15.
Yeah.
It's either a year and a half.
Yeah, right.
It counts. Okay, so like I remember so we go upstairs and Steve's like, he sends an email. Remember the website we used to look at? There used to be like, band, this date, bands, lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
It's like, this lineup's available. And he emails them and he's like, oh, we're booked. We need a band name.
Yeah, that's right.
It's exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
And what was the name I was fighting for? Come on.
Fatal Eclipse.
There was that Fatal Eclipse. I thought it was cool. It didn't really fit us, but come on, remember the big one? Red Rum.
Red Rum. Yeah.
That was the name.
You
I
were
was
obsessed with that.
because I liked that name.
Yeah.
That's a cool. Now you, Mr. Horror, probably like
know,
it,
I
but
know.
you didn't then,
Yeah.
asshole. You thought it was stupid.
To be fair, I didn't like Dark Days either. But
That's-
we made a deal that we were going to change it.
Yes,
Go ahead.
that's right. That's the whole thing because we needed a name, and it was either coming out or just came out the new Coal Chamber CD, Dark Days, and those three guys were big Coal Chamber nuts, and at the time we were not. We weren't. Yeah, I started to like them later in life, but not then. And we just got outvoted, and it was like, that's going to be the name, Dark Days. We'll change it later. We just need something for now, and we never changed it.
We never changed it.
Then all of a sudden we got merch and all this
Yes,
shit.
because the argument became, well, now we're catching on and we can't change it because now...
We're catching on after one show with like 20 people.
Right.
Yeah, we're catching on.
I do remember the first time we had our name on a marquee, though, and all of us were like, holy
Yeah,
shit.
that was cool. Because I don't remember who it was under, but it was under like a band the day before.
Hate Scar.
Was that what it was?
It was the same day. They played, like, there was 4 bands and they were the headliner.
That might have been that show, but there was another band. It might have been Hate Breed. You might be like, there was like the night before it was like Hate Breed.
Oh, you're
and then
right.
The next
you're
day
right.
said
Yeah,
like Dark
I'm
Days
confused.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, there was 2 headlining marquees and we were the second one and a real big band was the first one.
Because, yeah, it was like the day before the day
Yeah.
after. It's a Showplace Theater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but our first show was at the Side Show. That's gone,
It's gone, yeah.
unfortunately. But that was a huge venue.
Huge.
I mean, 20 people in there looks like 4.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
it was so huge.
Well, again, bands would play their, like, Orgy, Godsmack, Dope, and then they were like, you guys want to play? And we were like, okay.
Yeah. And our first show had like 8 songs, 6 covers.
Yes.
half of Pantera Walk,
Yes.
cut off at the solo, because
Yes.
neither of you could do it. And
Right.
I can call you out because I was the guitar player. So I will call y'all out. Y'all couldn't do it.
But we like made it a medley into something else. But I can't remember what it was though.
I think we just stopped. We were just,
No. It went into a Godsmack song because we played like 4 Godsmack songs.
That's what it was. It was like Walk, like 4 Godsmack songs and 2 originals.
Right, which was a big deal for us to have originals.
Yep, which were so bad. Like, not bad, but they're bad.
They're bad, yeah.
They're bad.
They got better towards the end when we started to really learn our craft and realize what we were doing, but they're not like, if you listen to them now, you'd be like, ah.
Well, we didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know how to write lyrics, so my
Right.
lyrics were so just like emo, but like not real good emo, like just lame, kind of.
But that was our first experiences in a studio, too. We did cut albums,
Yes.
and, like, you know, we sold them, and we had merch, and, like, we were gaining experience that we were going to use later, because me and you weren't satisfied with Dark Days, because we were like, it's too easy. The music is too simple. And we wanted to do something more complex.
Yes,
And we did.
we did.
A few times, but the very next one, I think, was Aces and Eights.
Was Aces and Eights, and that's when we took Steve, the drummer,
Yeah.
and we left the guys, and we went on our own, and we got a couple other people, and then that was about the time that I started playing guitar.
Yes, that was also the time where I started singing backup for you.
Yes.
Because we were doing different styles of music.
Because
that-
you weren't really feeling singing.
I wasn't.
You never were.
Nope. I was only singing acoustic by myself.
Yeah, you were never did you in Dark Days and in Aces and Eights. You didn't sing one song.
No.
Right?
No.
And like
I just in Aces and Eights is when you were like, "Can you do backing vocals?" And I was like, "Let's do it," because now I was finding myself.
right, and like and it was the same thing. So it's funny how like things change. Like you were coming into singing, and I wasn't coming into guitar yet, but I was starting to learn it at least. Like I think I wrote a song on guitar at Aces and Eights.
Yeah, you did.
I think I
You
did. And like that was a thing why I started picking up guitar too. It was because like I think like you hit a roadblock.
Yeah.
And you couldn't write, and then we had Dan and Melissa, and they couldn't write.
Right. Exactly.
And like nothing was happening. And that's why I think I started taking guitar more seriously. And honestly, like it kind of came not easy like the drums did, but it did come easy.
Yeah.
I got good quick.
Yeah.
I really did. Like, and I started to write before I was good, and that's okay. That's a different skill. You know, like you can write a song and not really know how to play guitar.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like that's where I was at that point.
Right.
And I started writing a few songs, and then like that band just didn't last long.
No, and the covers we were doing though were more complex too. We
Yeah.
were playing Metallica and things like that.
We went to Metallica. We were trying to do some Guns N' Roses,
Oh yeah, that's right.
but we were like skipping out on the solos again.
No, we were doing. Yeah, I was.
Well,
doing,
okay,
yeah.
well, yes, we did From the Beltos, but there's not really solo. In it.
No, but I think we did do a Guns N' Roses song, but I can't remember
Yeah,
what it was.
I can't remember, but you were soloing.
Yes, yeah,
And you're to the point, like at that, you were getting real better, and Dan was good too.
yes,
And like, I was nowhere near soloing it, so like, it was okay to like, in my mind, to not have solos, but I'm happy we did it in the long run. But that was also the kind of like band that we had fun in. It was a little more our style,
yeah,
but not really at the same time. But it was closer.
yeah. It was
It was
closer.
that bridge that we needed. And then you kind of did the same thing, took Dan and left.
Yes,
And
yeah.
that band disbanded. And that was kind of it for us for a long time.
Yeah. So take us through where you went from there musically. We're going to circle back to wrestling, but just yeah.
Well, musically, so the next thing I did musically was, well, I did join back up with you for a while
Oh yeah, that's right.
when you were in Tainted.
But you were playing bass.
Bass.
Yeah, that's right.
I was playing bass. But again, that shows you like how quickly I was getting good where I was just learning guitar in 03.
Yeah.
And by like 05, I was filling in for your band on bass.
Right.
And became a permanent member because I was better than the guy you had.
Right.
And it was just like, right. I mean, it's like, did I want to play bass in your band? No.
Right.
But like, you were a better guitar player at the time. Dan was a better guitar player at the time. What the hell was I going to do?
Right.
You were singing.
Yeah.
So you went off on your own and started doing your own singing thing for once. So I was happy to be there to like support that and back that up. Right? And like, it wasn't my thing. And like, I kind of probably got egoed about it. And it's like, at this point, I'm pretty good at guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm writing more and I'm doing my own stuff. And it's like,
You're getting more metal too.
oh, I was getting crazy like
Yeah.
into the heavy.
But the band that I was in at that time was more emo than
Yeah.
anything. And
but
it was
not like
short-lived.
that. Not like the heavy emo.
No.
Yeah.
no.
More the poppy emo.
Pop punk almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that was. Where I was drifting over into the metalcore
Yeah.
and the metal emo side.
You can see it now that we're like tracking through our history, the experimenting that's going on.
Yeah.
Like
well, we're finding it.
right, exactly.
We're finding it. Like, there's no reason, say, we couldn't take that band Tainted to have a harder edge.
Right, exactly.
There's no reason we couldn't,
Exactly.
but you weren't going to have it
Right.
at that time, right?
And also,
And
too,
that's fine.
we were making a name for ourselves as musicians in the area to where when we branched off and started doing our own things, we were getting bookings immediately.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those things where we were starting over. It was like, oh, these guys have been around for a minute and they're still only 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I never had a hard time until now finding a band.
Right, yeah.
You know, finding musicians to
finding
like,
a gig even.
And it's funny because it's like my name was a thing, like people knew it, but now it's like my legacy is almost a thing. So it's like I'm starting jamming with these guys now that I never really met.
Yeah.
They didn't, I mean, Chazz, but they never put 2 and 2 together. But once I told them a couple bands I was in, they were like, oh, you're that fucking guy.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that was kind of like, so now it's like the name's gone, but there's still a legacy kind of behind me. So after like I was doing the thing with you with Tainted, I decided to like just take guitar serious and work at it hard. And I got really good really fast. And not really fast. And I worked at it hard. I wish I still worked at it as hard. Honestly,
I remember.
Because, I mean, I went from like being unsure to not playing solos to being pretty damn good after a while.
Yeah.
In like 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was hard work. But you were right. I was getting heavy. And with that screaming from back in the day, perfecting it, metalcore and just screamo just called my name.
Do you remember the names of some of the bands you were in back then?
Well, the first, like, I was going in and out of things that weren't getting off the ground. And with people like, say, like Dan Barris and stuff like that. It's people, you know. And then, like, Kostoff and Nick and, like, all these guys.
Could we also just point out that in this area back then, the music scene was gigantic.
Yes.
So there was bands every night, like, crazy, like, huge concerts that would go on, like, 6, 7 bands, and, like, it was popular. Yeah. So these shows were packed, and everybody knew who these bands were. So it's not like we were jumping from person to person, like you just name-dropped a few people. Back then, if you said that name in a club, they knew, because the scene here was just humongous. It's not that anymore, sadly.
Do you know anybody under the age of 30 that plays guitar?
No.
Like, that's a serious question.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
It's crazy, right?
Not that's out here gigging and playing shows like we used to.
Right.
Like, the scene was huge, and we were all between 18 and 20-something.
Yeah.
And it was just a mobbed Friday, Saturday, Sunday of just gigs.
Right.
Getting paid, having fun, just...
And, like, even, like, not just, like, gigs at, like, hole-in-the-wall bars. Like, remember bands like Heredity Unknown and stuff?
Yes.
Would, like, throw down at the VFWs?
Yeah.
They'd rent the hall and, like, go crazy. Like, that
and it would sell out.
So cool.
Yeah.
And that was more like when we were in high school, we weren't doing that yet. But
we did play with them, though.
We did play with them.
Yeah.
I loved those guys. So, like, they were, like, inspiration for me. Because they were dudes right from our hometown, Lackawanna.
Yeah.
The guy lived in the next street.
Yeah.
You know? So it was cool. It was cool to me. But, like, the metalcore thing called my name. And, like, I love it to this day still.
Yeah.
And, you know, did I come attracted to it because I was good at it? Possibly. Maybe. But I just loved it because... Like, when I looked at, like, bands I liked in the new metal scene, like, I loved the singers that could scream and sing, the Slipknots, you know?
Yeah.
That was the next continuation, was into the metalcore. And the screamo side. Like, the screamo side, like, I, like, pushed away, and I would tell everybody that I wasn't in an emo band, but when I was in my band Torn from the Rest, 100% emo band.
I remember that.
100% emo band.
Yeah.
And that's the band where I wrote every guitar lick, every lyric, every singing melody, every singing harmony. Everything. That was my 3-piece band. But before that, I was in that metalcore band that, like, was my closest to succeeding, which was a Phoenix Rising.
Yes, and that band got really popular. So
I'm not going to lie, if you guys are listening, hi guys, Nick, because of me. No, it is.
I remember you were pushing that band hard.
When I say because of me, it's because I replaced the guy.
Yeah, I remember.
And, like, I brought just a whole new life. And it was like, and, like, Nick might... I mean, he can't deny that we got much bigger when I was in the band. He might not have liked the direction. That's fine. People like what they like.
Yeah.
He was a little more of the harder metal. He didn't want singing as much. But where I brought in, as you guys know, big Killswitch Engage, Howard Jones fan. So, like, the screaming and the singing. Songs that were more emotional. That's where things we started butt heads a little bit. But also our popularity grew.
Yeah.
And it really did. And, like, talking on Battle of the Bands, but not Battle of the Bands that little places put on. Like, Battle of the Bands for, like, contracts.
Right, yes.
Like, the next step of the Battle of the Bands.
Or they would pay for your studio time.
Yeah.
Or, like, it was really... That's how big the scene was.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to be the next big thing, and we're going to pay for it.
And this was in the midst of a lot of cool bands that, like, made it. It Dies Today. Every Time I Die. might not a big fan, but they had a pretty big hit. Cute Is What We Aim For.
As Summer Dies.
Yeah, Summer Dies. Like, a lot of cool bands made
Yeah.
it. Like, you look back at all those bands, I mean, Every Time I Die is one of the biggest, metalcore bands out there.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
For
like,
sure.
all from this area. And I know
Yeah.
you know some of those guys, too.
Yeah.
And they're great wrestlers.
That's right. That's right.
Hey everybody, this is Lauren Marie Taylor, creator and host of the Not the Final Girl podcast. Okay, so every horror fan remembers the final girl, right? You know, the one who can outrun and outsmart the Jasons, the Michaels, the Chuckies. I think you get it. But what about the girls and, the guys who met with an untimely end? Those of us who were tortured and tripped, dragged and killed. Don't we deserve some props? As Vicky in Friday the 13th Part 2 and Sheila in Girls Night Out, I know what a drag it is to succumb to those masked and wardrobe-challenged killers, to not be the final girl. On my new podcast, I'll be chatting with other women of horror who share the same fate. Special guests include those final girls as well as the writers and directors who created our characters, only to give us an early expiration date. And if they play nice, we'll let some of those crazed killers of horror tell their side of the story. So join me, Lauren Marie Taylor, on the Not the Final Girl podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you get the alerts when the episodes drop. Thanks for listening. Keep your doors locked and stay out of the woods.
If you're looking for ways to skip the trip to the post office and dodge all the hectic holiday shopping traffic, why not save time and money with Stamps.com? Stamps.com lets you compare rates, print labels, and access exclusive discounts on UPS and USPS services all year long. It just makes sense, especially if your business sends more mail and packages during the holidays. Now, I've used Stamps.com. It does save a lot of money, and it is very, very, very convenient. So whether you're selling online or running an office or side hustle, Stamps.com can save you so much time, money, and stress during the holidays. Access all the post office and UPS shipping services you need without taking the trip, and get discounts you can't find anywhere else, like up to 40% off USPS rates and 76% off UPS. Going to the post office instead of using Stamps.com is kind of like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Just going up a couple floors? Sure, take the stairs. Walking up 30 flights a day? You could use a break. If you spend more than a few minutes a week dealing with mail and shipping, Stamps.com is a lifesaver. You'll save so much time and money, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. Save time and money this holiday season with Stamps.com. Sign up with promo code POD, that's POD, for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click the microphone at the top of the page, and enter code POD. Now, during all of this process, though, you're getting better, you're getting your name out there more. Again, going back to the recording, like you're cutting demos, you're cutting CDs, you're doing these things, and you're gaining the experience in the music business to continue on. And on the side, from your original projects, you're doing cover bands. And you're like keeping your chops up doing, it wasn't your main act, but you're on the side, but you weren't singing.
No, I wasn't singing at that time. I was just playing rhythm guitar and background singing. But you know what I was doing? I was making money.
Yes.
Because that's like, there is like, if you're in a good cover band around here, at least then, you could make money. So I'm talking like, we were a 5-piece, and we would all drink for free and leave with $100
Yeah.
each to play for three hours. Like, that's awesome money.
Yeah.
You can't get that now.
And I mean, I would like to think that a lot of us who were like real serious musicians were doing something like that, because at this point in time, I'm starting Angel Down, which is my baby, my project. but I'm playing acoustic gigs and I'm playing cover shows and I'm filling in with my dad's band. And I'm like, oh, what's that? You need a acoustic duo somewhere and you only got one guy? I'll jump up there. Like, you were doing the same thing. If you were out at a bar somewhere and there was an extra guitar and somebody was going to play a set that you knew, you would go play.
Yeah, if they let me, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
you know, a lot of people and a lot of us musicians shit on cover bands sometimes and like look down on it.
Because we're a tribute band.
This is my scarf. Is that you're talking Rockstar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my cables.
That's right. But like, you know, the cover band I was in at the time, Vertical Smile, stupid name, with Steve from Dark
From our
Days.
stuff, yeah.
And then, so the thing is like, we played a lot of music that I didn't like.
That you didn't like.
That I did not like.
Oh, okay.
And I still kind of don't.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest with myself, I'm happy I did it because it made me learn different styles on guitar.
Okay.
It made me learn and play things that I would never, ever, pick up to learn how to play Marcy's Playground, Sex and Candy.
Right.
Right? Never.
Well, you're also now playing at more mainstream bars.
Yes.
Because your other band, you're playing at metal clubs or metal nights at bars or things like that. So now you're playing like 3-4 days a week.
Right.
And you're getting paid every time.
Oh, we made great money.
Right.
And it was cool, and I think they're still all doing it.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, and they're still doing well
I
and
didn't know
making
that.
money, just with a different guy. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just had an ego problem at the time. Like, I don't want to act like I was fucking crazy, like, you know, like Paul Stanley ego, like, at the time. But, like, you know, it was just like, I'm rhythm guitar. I'm not better than the guitar player, obviously. Dean was great, but I'm just as good, if not better, than this singer.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I doing here? But, like, the band also threw me a bone, like, here and there, where it's like, we would play our set, and then at the end of the show, we would do this 20-minute Metallica medley, where the singer would leave, and I would sing and play guitar.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, I got my kicks out of it, but at that time, I just was a little too immature to accept that role. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was ready, but I wasn't. I wasn't.
So where did you go from there?
At that point is when I was in the 3 bands. I was in that band. I was in the Phoenix Rising, like, taking over the metalcore scene. And that sounds cocky, but it's true.
Yeah, I remember.
It really was. That's when I started my Angel Down, my baby, Torn from the Rest.
That's the one.
And that's when I started it. That was my 3-piece band with Eric and Dave. Eric, shout out to Eric Joseph, the best bass player in Western New York, maybe all of New York.
Maybe, yeah.
Fucking fantastic, and the dude still...
He might be the best bass player in a lot of places.
Yeah, he is awesome. So, like, getting him on board with me, and if he ever listens to this, I think I've told him this stuff, but getting him on board with me was a huge shot of confidence. It was also a huge shot to my ego down the line, which maybe wasn't the best, but, like, it was a huge shot of confidence because up at this point, I literally was only playing guitar in the basement, maybe in the cover band. Because I think I started Torn from the Rest right about the same time the cover band went. So it was like, I never had any confidence in my guitar playing. But this dude was like I said, this guy has a bass degree from the University of Buffalo. Like, he's fantastic. He can do whatever he wants, play whatever he wants. And he chose to get in a band with me as the only guitar player, as the only singer, right? And then Dave on the drums. And it was like, looking back at it now, like, there was a big, like, confidence boost and a big risk he took. But, like, I think I delivered. And I do. And I think I needed that because he was so damn good and he taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, because he just knows everything about... I never took a guitar lesson, but he taught me a lot. And I, in turn, I feel helped him a lot singing. Because I forced him to sing backgrounds. I made him sing some songs. Yeah. And, like, in turn, he went off after we broke up and started doing his own band singing and everything.
Yeah,
so,
I remember
it was really cool, like, that we helped each other in that aspect. So, like, that was the thing that for 5 years, everything I had was put into. Yeah. And it was just, I think, too late. A little too weird, but too late. We're getting off the ground running in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. The emo scene is at its peak at, like, 2007. Yeah. Right? So it's like...
yeah. You know what's weird is, at this stage, when you find Torn from the Rest, we're almost mirroring each other. Because now we each have our baby project, and we came into our own, and it was like, this is what we're doing. and we each started to expand and grow like rapidly at the same time, but separately.
Yes.
But down the line, we do come back.
Well, that's what I was thinking about mentioning that. I'm glad you said that because I think we needed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're a year and a half apart. I mean, we grew up in the same town. We're family, obviously. Our families are close. So it's like we came into the bands together. We did everything together.
Yeah.
We needed it.
Yeah.
We needed to get away and kind of, I think, prove to ourselves that we could do it. Because, like, it was like that kind of backwards thing where you were playing guitar longer than me and I was singing longer than you, and now we're both doing both.
Right.
Right? And
right.
it's kind of just, like, weird. And we weren't ever, like, enemies.
No.
We weren't against each other, but we were separate.
Yeah.
And then, Torn from the Rest of Angel Down, we looped back together. We were playing shows together.
Yes.
And I just remember, like you opening for us opening for you, putting on, like, long shows. 2 bands for 5 hours.
Yes.
My band brought 3 hours worth, because we had all our music and covers.
Yeah.
And that was cool for me as being in that band. We would do 3 sets, and it would almost be 50-50. And that's cool to me because, like, my originals got out there, and then people got to enjoy the covers. And they weren't like your normal bar covers either.
Right.
They were fun, like punk covers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always fun to, like, play those shows together, get back in each other's, like, I don't want to say good graces. We weren't fighting.
No, it was
just separate.
But it was cool too because when we did those shows, like if we were about to do a song that I knew that you knew, I would invite you up to do it with us. So then it was like we were sharing the stage, but in different bands. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because there always might have been a bit of, I don't want to say we were jealous of each other, but there's always something. There might have been some little bit somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, I can do that.
I think we kind of came together and like mutually decided we shouldn't play together for a while. Because I think we were starting to butt heads on like, this is the creative direction that I'm going, and you're like, but I'm going in this one. And I was like, then we can't do this.
I don't even know if we just said it. I think we just knew.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know.
And I think it was like, we just did that in general, because we grew apart a little bit. Yeah. We weren't as close again and stuff, and it's never like abandoned each other. No. But like, it just, we grew apart, and then grew back in, and then I actually played in Angel Town for a while, too.
But then it was more your style, too, because we were doing
You
harder
went heavier,
rock.
you bastard.
Yeah. It went harder rock, and then borderline metal for some of the songs. And you were like, dude, this is the shit I was trying to get you to do before. And I was just stuck in this mindset of, that's not what's popular right now. Right. And you were like, who gives a shit? It's what we like.
Right.
And then when I came into my own on that, I was like, oh, this is what I'm good at. Why the fuck wasn't I doing this?
Well, that's why I was happy you called and asked.
Yeah.
And it was me, you, and country music superstar Eric Van
That's
Howard,
right. He was playing bass for us at the time.
He was playing bass for us.
Who was the drummer?
Tommy,
yeah.
Tommy was the drummer. Rest in peace, Tommy.
Yep.
And it was cool. And, like, it was another confidence boost, honestly, in my guitar playing that my cousin who's been playing guitar much longer than I have, asked me to join his band to play lead guitar.
Yes. Yep.
Taking over from Dan and from Dean. And Dean to this day is better than me. I will say that. But I took his spot.
But you know what? We were playing some big shows. I believe you were playing with us when we were all over 103.3 The Edge and doing the, I think the place was called Club Paradise at the time. And it was some giant show.
I don't think I was at that one. I think I just came right after.
We were the co-headliner. I thought you were up there with me.
I don't remember, but I remember being there.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, at that time, there was a time, like, we didn't actually support each other in a sense of going to each other's shows either, because we were so busy.
Yeah, right.
Too. Like,
well, a lot
you'd
of
have
times,
a show, I'd have a show.
Exactly.
You know, and it would just would happen. But, like, the times we did stick out.
Yeah.
You know, the few times we did.
Yeah.
Coming back into Angel Down, doing that. I love that. And I know you just put out your album last year, and there's a few of those Angel Down songs, and I'm pissed off because I should have been on them with you.
Hey, we can sure as shit record some more stuff.
Because I mean, I remember, like, I dug the solos. Like, I had my own band with my own solos, but it was different because you wrote different than me. You had different chord progressions. So playing leads over those lines was out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I get in a certain wheelhouse and play, and I know where I'm going to go, and it's like, whatever. But there I was like, where am I going here? So it was fun, to, like, get into it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a bunch of shows that we played that were just packed, and like at the time your hair was long as fuck.
Yes, my hair was long.
And you would just be swinging it, and we were just having a fucking blast, and that was when everything was clicking and making sense because we knew who we were as musicians.
Yeah.
And I think that's why our followings were so big. I remember having shows where we needed backstage passes because they wouldn't let people in, like, to the areas that we were in. It got to that point. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And, well, the problem with that era of Angel Down, too, was, like, I think you were just kind of shot.
Yeah.
And Eric was starting to do his own thing.
He was starting to go the country route.
And it was just like, what was going to happen? So that was a short-lived venture, too.
Not for me. I was in Angel Down for a long time. But
that
when
part
you
of Angel Down,
yeah,
I'm saying, was a short-lived venture.
I was starting to get blown out by everything.
That was the end of it.
Yeah.
I think you tried to get it back at some point, but you didn't. But that was the end of it for my recollection.
And then I remember you after that going into a band called Touching All the Candy.
That was my most, if I have to be honest, that was my most fun band I was ever in. That was me and Eric, my dude, my bass player, and his brother playing drums.
Yeah.
And it was just a straight cover band. Whatever, and the coolest thing is, it was whatever the fuck we wanted to cover.
Yes.
That was the coolest thing. We did Metallica, Primus. We did Pennywise, Marilyn Manson. We did Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. You know what I mean? Like, whatever I liked and wanted to cover, whatever Eric liked and wanted to cover. We don't listen to drummers. And we just
Sorry, Joey Casada.
and we just went on from there.
Yeah, I remember that's a band that I used to come see you playing all the time.
Because that was just fun.
Yeah, but I was also, like, again, taking a step back from music.
You were.
I was really only doing acoustic gigs.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing the full band thing, and I was starting to wrestle.
I think I had you open up acoustic a couple times.
You did.
Yeah,
You did.
so, like, because you weren't doing much.
Right. So
And I remember, like telling you, like, come up, play, sing a couple songs.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you the guitar. You wouldn't. You might have sang. You might have sang Love
I sang
Gun.
a couple.
You might have sang Love Gun.
I did Lit With You. Stuff like that.
So, like, like, it was fun, but I remember you still weren't feeling it.
No.
It was just, like, because I remember saying to you, like, we could make it a 4-piece.
Yeah.
And I remember saying these exact words to you. You're the only dude I'll bring in.
Yeah.
Like, I'll keep it a 3-piece. I don't need somebody else. You're the only dude I'd bring in.
But I remember, too, I was so burned out. I'm 23-ish at this time, and I'd been already playing shows for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was starting to get fed up with the politicking and the backstabbing and the fucking bullshit contracts and all the shit that we were dealing with at the time. Every time somebody dangled a carrot and then ripped us off. And I just remember getting so mad. I'm like, I'm just going to take a break. And then I started wrestling.
Yes.
Which curves me into you talking about wrestling. Now, were you out of it at the time? I can't remember.
Okay, so my wrestling journey went like this. Crazy big into it. Honestly, think before you even. Like,
yeah.
Just because I'm older, but just crazy big into it. I don't even know you liked wrestling probably until like Raw. Once Raw started.
I remember watching the first Raw and being super excited because I used to watch Saturday Morning Superstars. Yeah. But that's when for me, a lot of my memories start to be way more vivid. Like, I remember stuff before that in, like, splashes of, like, oh, yeah.
Right.
But then once Raw starts, I'm like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, like, once Raw started, I remember it. But it was more of, like, 96. That was it for me. That was it for you.
Yeah.
We watched that Royal Rumble together. Mm-hmm. We watched Shawn Michaels win. Spoiler alert. Another, I might have said this before, memory I have is like something happened in the middle of the Royal Rumble. We like sat on the remote and turned off the TV.
Yeah.
And we were all like panicking.
Yeah, freaked out.
I remember that. But then like that was it because like you were all really hyped on Shawn Michaels. You were a mark already.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was into it too.
And I'm still that way with Shawn Michaels.
Yes, we know. Probably we know.
But then the Attitude Era comes.
That was it.
And we're teenagers. So now we're like, oh my God, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Like WrestleMania 13, I would have been 11. I didn't watch it. I remember getting the tape the next day from somebody, right?
Yeah.
Watching it and like not even fully understanding how big that Austin Brett match was.
Right.
Honestly, I didn't understand how big that was at the time. I barely remember Stone Cold before that match. Like I know he won the Rumble.
Yeah.
I knew he was getting big. He won the thing, but he was more like a mark guy.
Yeah.
He was more like a mark guy.
Yeah.
But like at that point is when he started making his noise, and then that was it. And then Survivor Series 97 happened with the screw job. Again, we didn't know. We didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, we had no idea.
We weren't marks. We had no observers. But like the fact, like I thought it was all a gimmick.
Yeah.
And then he's on TV with the black eye talking about it. Like I mean, but it was real to us then.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was just it. Like that Knox Royal Rumble 98, like glued to wrestling every Monday, eventually every Friday or Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, I think.
I wouldn't get you would get the pay-per-views with your uncle.
All of them.
Illegally.
Yes. ECW, WCW,
Illegally.
WWF.
Son of a bitch. That's the only reason you have to watch them all.
That's right.
But I would get them all too by sitting at home and watching Channel 99, and it would be all scrambled. But I'd listen to it.
Yeah. And then every once in a while a firework would explode and the TV would clear up and you could see it for 10 seconds.
Like I could always see Kane.
Always.
But like King, they were so good at their job that you didn't...
You could visualize
You
it.
could be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, and it's still like it to this day, like I'm not that much of a mark where I need to watch the match and give it star ratings and say work rates and do this and do that. Like, I'd watch the match, but, like, to me, it's like, who's winning, too?
Yeah, right.
Like, who's the champ? Who's the storyline, too?
So when did you kind of fall out of it a little bit?
It was, I was trying to think of this because I knew you would ask me that question. And, like...
Because I remember watching WrestleMania 22 with you.
I was out of it then. I pretty much watched every single WrestleMania at least. That was always...
That's true. You always came back for Rumble and Mania.
Yeah, that was always a thing. But, like, I think it was when... I think I got so invested in what I call people out on nowadays. I call people out on WWE versus AEW. Mm-hmm. I call people out on that. And I was so invested in WWE versus WCW that when WCW folded and was bought out, I think that was my downfall. Gotcha. I really think it was because I had no other vested interest anymore.
Yeah.
And I got so bought up into that hype. And I'm afraid that will happen to wrestling again.
Yeah.
If WWE is never going to go out of business.
No.
But if AEW does go out of business.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
I think those fans will just be done because they're so invested. Just like a lot of us were. Yeah. Wrestling went from like 16 million people a night to like 4.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah,
it's
you're
a
right.
huge drop-off.
Yeah.
Because people were, like, invested in that. And, like, you can't say it's not... Because WWE in 2001, 2002, 2003 was fantastic.
Yeah.
It really was. Look at the rosters.
Looking back on it now, though, you're like an encyclopedia of even the years that you weren't really heavily watching. So what brought you back in?
Network.
100%.
So... Like I said, I've always watched, I mean, from WrestleMania, basically 12, I missed 13. 14, I remember watching with my friends. 15, 16, I had different cousins. I don't remember 17, 18. 19, I went to Matt Bessiker's house and watched it. 20, I watched at Hooters.
Wow.
Okay? Because Hooters was doing a thing. 21 was like, I watched at some dude's house that I worked with. But ever since then, like 22 through basically this year, maybe here or there we missed it, I watched it with you.
Yeah, right. Right.
But... that's all I would watch.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching, like, I literally remember watching wrestling, maybe it was WrestleMania 27 or 28.
Yeah.
Who's Daniel Bryan? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's the champ, right? And I was like, when Alberto Del Rio won the Royal Rumble, who is this guy?
I remember you texting me and saying, who is this?
Yeah. So it's like, that's where I was.
Yeah.
And, like, it's a shitty place to be. I can't watch Raw. I still really can't watch Raw. I couldn't watch SmackDown, and I didn't really have cable forever.
I always remembered, out of nowhere, you just became the biggest Ring of Honor fan.
Well, that's because I don't have cable. I still don't have cable.
I'm going to eat a chip.
Okay, eat a chip. I paid for... Let's hear it. Okay, nice and crunchy. I never paid for cable. Recently, I started paying for Sling, but...
yeah.
So I've always, like, had, just the antenna, and Ring of Honor was on there.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like the Ring of Honor was always on Fox before Fox even had SmackDown. So that, to me, got me into it. And it was actually the easiest thing for me to watch. Because it played like 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it was like, you could keep up on it. So even when I got the network, you still couldn't keep up on Raw and SmackDown. Because they're always a month behind.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So what really got me bringing back into wrestling was, yes, I got that network. I bought the network, whatever the date was for WrestleMania 35. And I've never canceled it to this day. Mm-hmm. So that's 6 years, right? Yeah, that's 6 years I've had.
Wait, is it?
Just about, right? It's 26, yeah? 7.
No, we're not that many WrestleManias.
2015, 6.
I don't know what WrestleMania we're on.
Well, it was 2015.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2021. It's about to be 2022. So almost 6. So, yeah. So,
yeah.
That's a long time. So almost 7 years.
Yeah.
I've had it. I bought it that day. It was a year old. I think they started it at like WrestleMania 30.
Did they?
I think that's when like the network started.
So you got it at 31?
Got it at 31.
You said 35. That's why I was like,
I'm sorry.
We're not 6
No,
years
WrestleMania
after.
31 in 2015. Because I had some people over for that day. You didn't come. You were doing something else.
Yeah.
But from that point on, I never canceled it. What really helped me along is I still couldn't watch Raw and SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
And I would try, but honestly, and I don't know if this goes for a lot of people, is I found a few people on YouTube that would break down at least what's happening in Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
So I could get like what's happening in like a 15-minute segment. I'll call him out. There's a guy I like. He's not super nerdy, Marky. He's called Wrestling with Regret. Uh-huh. Brian Zane, it's with a W. He was doing stick work for Ring of Honor.
Oh, okay.
Brian Zane. So he's the kind of guy that, like, he would do a Raw and SmackDown review every week. And it's like, I don't really give a shit about his opinion.
Yeah.
He would let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
So that helped me go through with a couple of YouTube shows. And then SmackDown moving to Friday was good for me because I'm at work and I put on the TV there. and it's on there. But once I got the network and I really dove into the network, I got to catch up on a lot of stuff.
So you went back and back.
I really did because, like, okay, so obviously there's a big hole void in my music.
Yeah.
I just stopped in like 2011, 2012 because I focused on myself. I went to I always had this thing where it's like the 27 club, all the musicians die at 27. If I don't make it by 27, I'm going to do something else.
Right, yeah.
27 hits, that's 2013.
Yeah.
I turned 27. And I stopped.
Yeah.
I stopped doing music. I went to school. I got my culinary degree. And I opened my restaurant in 2015.
Yeah.
So at that point, I became so busy with life that since 2015, I've only played with a band one time.
Yeah.
I mean, I played with you here and there.
Yeah, we've done some acoustic gigs and stuff.
But, like, that's it. And honestly, I would work hard. I'd work 60, 65 hours a week. I would go home and I'd watch wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's how I would catch up. And that's how I got caught up. I know you say it's on an encyclopedia, but, like, I don't know where that comes from. It's just something like, and I used to have that space in my brain for football.
Yeah.
But that's kind of gone. Like, I used to be able to sit here and tell you who won the Heisman Trophy and who was, like, the first overall picks in these drafts, blah, blah. And I still can to an extent. But now that's, like, replaced it with wrestling.
Right.
Like, I can almost go through every WrestleMania and tell you who the main event was.
And a lot of music stuff, too.
And music stuff. That never goes away.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of like wrestling took over from football, but I always had a love for fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's a little different. So, and now the Buffalo Bills are being good.
Yeah, right.
So, like, it's cool to have it back, but, like, I can compartmentalize it all now.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, like, wrestling just, it's because I miss so much. And, like, honestly, I would go to, you'd be there with Ish, and you'd be there with my son Chris, and you guys, and all your other boys talking about all this wrestling shit, and it was just like, oh, I know it, big hole, oh, I know it.
Yeah, right.
So honestly, like, that was part of it. It's like I wanted to fill in the hole. Yes, to talk with you guys,
Right.
but just to fill in that hole.
Yeah.
Just so I could have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't want to be Mr. Encyclopedia, I know everything.
Yeah.
It's just like, I want to be able to have an opinion on it.
And now you keep up regularly. And
Pretty much.
I would say, where did the horror movie thing start? But that's like 2 days ago.
It's like last year.
That's like last year.
No, it's been a couple of years. No, I've said this before. I started getting horror movies with Friday the 13th when the goddamn video game came out in 2017.
There you go. That's right.
That's what it was.
Shout out Lauren Marie Taylor.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's
You never
great.
bring me on. I'll never talk to you, Lauren. You'll never bring me on. But I hope you're listening.
We're going to go to a con.
We should go to a con.
We're going to together.
So that's where it came from. And, like, yeah, there's a big void in my life with music. But that's because, A, opening the restaurant, but B, and I've been open about it, mental health and working on myself and going into therapy and trying to just be a better person.
Right.
And, like, that was a struggle because, and I can honestly admit, it's 2021 right now. I probably started taking that shit seriously like 2014, 2015. But I was going to therapy before that. I just wasn't applying myself. And, like, my therapist was telling me things that I didn't want to hear. But that's okay. That's what they're supposed to do, right? And, once I started making those changes and becoming a better person is when our relationship got back on track too. Yeah. Nothing to do with you. That's just me. And that's me, like, understanding the value of friends in my life and who they are.
Yeah.
And, like, family. Just because you're family doesn't mean I like you, Robbie.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
That's very true, right?
Adam.
Well, he's not family, so I don't know. For me, at least. Close enough. But it's true. Like, I got plenty of family members that I would stay away from.
Well, I mean, since you're on the topic right now of, like, where you're at in your life currently, you should totally plug the restaurant right now for anybody who comes through town, because we have a lot of outside listeners from all over the place in Canada and all over the country, the U.S.
We don't allow Canadians in the restaurant.
Mitch. So, like, let everybody know if they're traveling through for a concert or a con, or you're visiting Niagara Falls, like, not far from there.
No, we're a place called Stack Burger, S-T-A-C-K, in Lackawanna, 1506 Abbott Road. You can find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. I mean, you should follow us on there because you're going to see, like, all the awesome pictures of my food, right? And you're going to want to, like, eat it.
You're the head chef and part owner,
yes.
And you come up with all of this on your own, and you went to culinary school, so this isn't just something that you started just because, like, you are trained to do this.
Well, what happened was, and this is the best way to explain it, is all that passion and stuff you guys have heard about me with music in the past and how I got so good at drumming quickly and guitar quickly and singing quickly, which was true. I gave that all up and put that into the culinary arts. And now I don't own this like fancy French restaurant. Can I cook that way? Sure. But I bring a lot of my schooling and technique and put it in a more approachable package of burgers, gourmet burgers and stuff like that, homemade soups, and like I'm just able to express myself artistically this way. And now it's getting to the other side of the point where I've been doing this now we've been open for over 6 years, if you can believe that. It's crazy.
Technically your second restaurant. Same restaurant.
We just
but
got
bigger
different
location.
Yeah.
Bigger location.
So like we've made the moves. We've won plenty of awards. We won the Taste of Buffalo, this huge food festival twice. But now it's to the point where I'm comfortable and I'm still able to like do what I need to do, like food wise and creative wise. Now I'm starting to get that itch for music again.
Right.
Right?
And we've been talking about that recently, saying, like, let's record something or do something.
Like, I got it together with these other guys I was saying, and they're just all metalcore guys, and I don't know if we're starting a band.
Right.
But I don't really think we are starting a band.
Right.
They played me a couple of their songs. I wrote lyrics to them. They're friggin' great. They sound so good. Like, I would love to get an advance copy maybe someday and show all you guys, but nothing's recorded yet.
Yeah.
You know, we're just playing.
Yeah.
We're just getting together to play.
It's funny how that happens, too, because I started to get the itch for it again also, and, like, we're almost right on the same page, because it was like, hey, you ever think about playing again? I'm like, all the time.
Yeah. And, like, it's tough. It's tough when you're in your mid-30s. Not late.
Mine are early.
Mid. No, I don't know about that, Robbie. You're early to mid.
Yeah, there you go.
Early to mid. I'm mid. But, like, it's tough, and I know that. And it's like, these guys, like, I'm getting together with, they're all older than me, basically, too.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, they get it. And it's like, but they still want to get together once a week, and I'm still eye-rolly about that.
Yeah.
But, like, I've been doing it.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing, and it's like, I would love if I could say, at the end of this, me and Rob are going to play you a new song, but, like, we just never been able to do it yet.
Right.
Right?
Not to say we won't.
Right.
But, you know, there's talks.
We're in talks. We just need, and even if any of you guys like out there want to like contribute, you know, with, you know, the way like things are with how easy it is to record and like throw bass lines down or drums down.
Yeah.
Like we can figure something out.
I got a few people in mind for doing some around the country, sending some stuff around and recording one song with a bunch of different people.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Is Mitch LaFon one of them?
Yes, he's the singer.
Yeah, Mitch. Singing all in French. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
How did it feel to like take a look back at all your musical stuff from the time you were 14 till now?
Well, I've done plenty of interviews like no. It's just weird to see how much different stuff I've done, different styles. Like if I can get you, we'll put some of my music on here at that. Yeah. Something. If I could I'll try to find a little bit of everything. Yeah, for sure. If I can.
I'll splice it all in.
Yeah.
Whatever we got, I'll splice it in when we're talking about it.
We'll try to figure it out.
Now I'm going to tell a funny story about you during the gig that we had. This is going to be a great one.
This is another one I probably don't remember. Probably. At all.
No, this one you might remember. This probably sticks out in your mind.
Is this Dark Days, dude?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, boy.
We're playing at a place called the Showplace Theater, which is still, around. Rat's playing there this weekend. Dawkins playing next weekend. No, Rat, with two T's.
No. It's Stephen Perry.
Stephen Piercy.
Stephen Piercy, the voice of Rat.
The voice of Rat.
That's what it is.
But Dawkins next week.
No, it's Dawkins with George Lynch opening up.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got
So I don't understand what's happening.
Okay.
And the opening artist is George Lynch opening up for Dawkins.
Interesting. So we're playing at this venue, and the stage is like...
With George Lynch.
Yes, with George Lynch. The stage is like way off the ground. Like the stage is high. So at the time...
Easily it's up to like your neck.
Right.
Like if you're on the floor.
If you're standing on the floor, it's up to your neck for an average size guy.
Yeah.
Right? So at the time... They used to put a steel gate up in front of the stage so that the crowd couldn't be right up against the stage and grab at us and touch us. Because, we were super cool, popular. Right?
We had all the 16-year-olds because we were 16.
Right, exactly. Yeah, wasn't anything funny going on there. And we used to do this move where me and you would step off the stage and we would straddle between the stage and the steel guardrail. Yeah. And you would obviously be leaning forward singing in somebody's face, and I would let my guitar swing over the crowd and I would play whatever song we were playing. And at this specific show, I remember pushing back to get onto the stage, and you didn't come with me. And we were very choreographed on this. We used to do it at the exact same time because we were Kiss. We had to practice all these moves, right? And you didn't come back. And you still didn't come back. And I remember going up to you while we were playing, leaning over, and you looked back at me and said, you were wearing leather pants, and you said, I split the crotch of my pants. I don't know what to do. I think my balls are hanging out.
want to be fair. Let's just put some truth in this. I was wearing pleather.
That's true.
Pleather pants.
Pleather bands.
Pleather pants.
And they split up the crotch, and you basically had swinging nuts over the crowd, and you were trying to figure out a way to push back onto the stage without splitting them even more.
I do remember that. I remember I've had some stage fails. I remember one of our first shows, 2002, guys, remind you, this is 2002, circa 2002. I was wearing the trip pants.
Yeah.
With all the big dangly shit in the back. Yeah. The bondage pants, as they would call it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my thing, I'm dancing around, and my foot got stuck in the bondage thing, and I went down.
Yep.
I remember that. I've had my fails. One of my favorite ones, and it's on video, but you can't tell. It was when I was in a Phoenix Rising. When I first joined a Phoenix Rising, I was just the guitar player. Then I replaced the singer. So this was the one show I played for them as just the guitar player.
Yep.
I'm playing, we're doing the little intro, and the song kicks in all heavy, and I headbang, and for some reason, just fucking boogers come flying out of my nose, all into my beard. So much that, like, when you watch this video, like, you can't really see it, but you can see me, like, my eyes get big, and me turn around and face my amp and go, like... So it was like the first heavy note of the song, man. I've had plenty of stage. Another one, I was rocking with my wireless, and we were playing at Sage's back when it was open, back when I was touching on the candy, and I'm going crazy. I'm all hyped up. The crowd's going nuts, and I jump on this table, like jump from the ground on this table. The table goes like goes right down, and I just like don't miss a beat, like I'm on a skateboard, and I ollie off that shit right on the fucking ground.
I got one for you. We hijacked the school talent show. You remember that?
That is so right.
We were supposed to play one song. It was on the big auditorium stage. This stage was massive.
The one that I owned, by the way.
And the auditorium was huge. And it was packed.
It was huge.
There was not one empty seat in there. We were supposed to play one song. So we got together in our little huddle backstage, and we said, listen, guys, we're going to play 5 songs. Just don't stop in between songs. We're going to mesh them all together so that they can't say that we played more than one song. And we were playing forever. And people were screaming. Remember how they were standing?
Or booing.
Or booing, yeah.
Because, I mean, we were taken away from, like, their kids, too, and shit.
Yeah.
Like, we were in between, like, the drill team.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was not, like, a metal show.
No.
It was, like, someone telling jokes.
But there was a great group of people that were like, this is hilarious and good, and they loved it because of the fact that we just didn't give a shit, and we just took the show.
Well, we played into our own egos a lot.
Yeah, we did.
But, you know, it was that classic role. You know, you act like a rock star, you get treated like a rock star. And I thought that was the truth. And it's not. You act like a rock star, you get treated like a douchebag.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it is. And it's just like, and it took me a while to learn that. It might have took you some time to learn that, too. You know, you don't have to fucking big league people.
I remember walking into school sometimes and literally falling asleep in class because we had a gig the night before until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And it was just... we weren't normal high schoolers. We were booking our gigs.
And that's why we had, I'm just going to say it, such big egos in our early 20s. And
yeah, we did.
Probably was not good for us.
No.
We probably lost a lot of friends, but if we lost friends over that, so be it.
Yeah.
Right? Probably lost a lot of bands. Like, who would have known when any of those bands could have been? Like, honestly, I can look back and say that I was a bit of a douchebag in my I suffered from douchebaggery.
Oh, I remember having an ego, especially in, like, the 2021 range, where it was like...
It's 2021 now, so you...
yeah, no. My age. I remember being
So,
like...
1975.
Yes. I remember being like, I've been doing this forever, and I'm only 20 years old. Don't fucking tell me how to do it. You know what I mean? It was just... not with everybody, though. It was weird. It was like I came out with certain people where I'd be like, no.
The people you didn't know as well. Because
right.
At least that's how it was for me. It's like you tried to play a role.
Yeah.
I was playing a role specifically of a rock star in my mind, which didn't need to happen.
Right.
I probably would have had much more success music-wise if I didn't play that role.
Yeah.
Which you should only play that role on stage.
Yeah, we didn't know how to turn it off all the time.
We did, but we purposely didn't. At least I could say that about me.
Yeah, that's true.
I purposely did. I purposely made moves. Like, I look back and, like, I'm calling out douchebaggery things that I've done in my life. Like, I remember having a certain girlfriend and, like, playing a show and, like, telling her, like, you're my girlfriend, I'm going home with you, I'm not going to cheat on you, but, like, you're not my girlfriend at the show because the girls here need to think I'm single.
So you could sell whatever.
Sell merchandise, right? Like, what a douche fuck move that was.
I remember that.
Right? And I feel like, looking back at it, I'm so ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of myself for saying that.
I mean, we made a lot of stupid decisions back then, too, because we were getting paid to do something we loved to do. and we were doing it on a constant basis, and the scene was huge, and the crowds were only getting bigger, and we were riding that wave.
We thought it would be forever.
We did.
It's certainly not.
Yeah, we were riding that wave of, like, it just keeps getting bigger from here. And at some point, it stopped. I mean, granted, kudos to us. Let's pat ourselves on the back for a minute, because we got bigger than a lot of people that we know. And we've done more things than a lot of people that we know. Like, I never thought I was going to open up for Wednesday 13 twice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I never, at that point anyways, like, that's when I started to get humble and be like, this is it, guys. Like, we peaked here. But then you get to do things like that, and you're like, holy shit. You know, and you just take it in stride instead of being like, well, obviously.
Well, yeah, next time Wednesday's going to be open up for us.
Right, exactly. Instead, I was thanking him, like, insane amounts of times on the side of the stage for letting me play. He was probably like, get the fuck away from me.
5 years before that, though, would have been different.
Right, exactly.
You know, if we would open up for Wednesday when we were 17... we would have fucking big leagued him.
Oh, for sure.
Like
for sure.
Because stupid.
Yeah, we would have been like, well, of course, we're riding this wave that keeps getting bigger. This was bound to happen. But at 21 years old, when I was like realizing that wasn't going to be the case for the first time, I was like, oh my God, thanks for letting me be here and open up for you and As Summer Dies. And, you know, this is so cool. And he's probably going, all right. Just fucking play.
Enough. Let's talk Ric Flair.
Yeah, let's talk about wrestling. But we did. We rode like a nice wave, and we had some success that a lot of other people in our shoes didn't have. So for that, I'm grateful, and I'm not done. Now I'm realizing that my creativity is still here, and I want to release more music.
Right, and that's where I think I am too. It's like we rode that wave, and I rode the wave into the next wave into the emo scene. I rode the wave almost a little longer than you, I feel, at that point, because I kept going into that emo
After
scene.
Angel Down?
Well, no, maybe at the same time.
Yeah, it was about the same time.
about the same time. But like,
I rode that shit to the end.
You're right, yeah. Because I left the one scene and got in the other scene.
Yeah, right.
But like, I don't feel I was being dishonest with myself. I liked it. It wasn't like I was just doing it, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, and then it was gone. So yeah, it was probably about the same time. But then it was just like, it's not that we suck. It's that people don't care anymore. And it doesn't matter what kind of music you play.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just not the same. And there's like, you play a show, like, young kids don't go to shows. Nope. Even when I go to shows, even if it's not... even if it's a younger-ish band.
Yeah.
It's all old people.
Let's be honest. We were playing 2 to 3 shows a week. They were pretty packed. And if we weren't playing, we were at one.
Right.
We wanted to see what the other bands were doing, the other places they were playing. We were all cramming into one car and like, which place are we going to tonight? Oh, the Cruise Inn, the show place, the sideshow, the fun house. But I mean, really, back then in that scene, it was important to be in the scene even if you weren't playing. You were networking. You were shaking hands. You were telling people what band you were in.
Shaking babies.
Shaking babies, kissing hands. But, well, I don't want to go too much longer because we're doing pretty good here. But thank you for doing this,
Well, it all
man.
started on a Sunday night in February of 1986. Yes, I was born on a Sunday. I know that.
I don't even know.
I've looked it up. You should look that up.
I should look.
That explains why I'm a lazy piece of shit on Sundays.
It started that way.
That's how it started.
Well, I think our listeners got to know you a lot better today.
Hope so. I hope some of you guys, like, if I was a douchebag to you in the past, I apologize. Don't hold it against me. I'm a changed person.
Well, I say if you guys did enjoy this and you want more or you have questions, plug your social media, man.
Yeah, come and find me on the Twitter at Chazz ABAO. Like, all bets are off. Kind of new on there. I'm starting to take my my YouTubing a little more. I think it's, what the hell is it? Rockstar Chazz? I don't know. I'll plug it on my, I don't even know. I'll plug it on my Twitter. It'll be up there. Just did a movie review for the new Resident Evil movie. We didn't really talk about like that. I'm a big gamer. I'm a big record collector. Those are like two things I'm very, very passionate about record collecting. Black Friday was also like Record Store Day part 2.
Oh, okay.
So I got a lot of cool fucking things. So.
And we have some cool episodes coming up soon.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Joey Casada.
Yeah. Boom. Called out.
Well, to be fair, you know, he's good friends with a friend of the show, Chris Jericho.
Oh, great. So we have to wait.
We have to wait.
Oh. You're lucky you got pretty hair, Joey.
And drum for Zio, too.
Well, that too, but...
All right, man. Well, thanks for being here, and we'll probably hear from you again within a week or two.
Hell yeah, I'm here.
Maybe Adam. We'll talk. I'm going to turn the mic off. We'll talk about it. We will see you next time on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Peace.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.